All right, I am Dallas here with Dallas Goes to the Movies, and we are here in Newton, Iowa, outside of the Capitol 2 Theater, and we have some very special guests today. We have Bing, the star of the new movie The Friend, which also happens to star Bill Murray and Naomi Watts. And we also with his owner, Bev, and I'm going to have a few questions for you. I wanted to start out with, obviously living in small town Iowa, it sounds like most of your life. I'm sure going to a Hollywood movie set in New York was a very different experience. What was the most surprising thing about the entire experience?
Honestly, I was most surprised. I'd never really thought about it on how out of order everything is shot.
Okay, yep.
I had never really thought that much about it, and then you realize that the script flow has nothing to do with the actual order in
Yep.
which things are filmed. I thought that was really weird.
Yeah, it's interesting. Some people will do it in order, and then someone's like, yeah, we had to go back and do reshoots, but someone had already shaved their head or something,
Yeah.
and so they had to wear a wig.
Yeah.
Yeah. Obviously, Bing seems very well behaved. Was there any additional training required for him to be on something like that where he needed to be doing, I assume, certain things for certain scenes?
Yeah, so he had most of the behaviors the filmmakers wanted. A lot of it was general obedience.
Okay.
So a lot of it was, the ability to sit, stay, do a down, stay in any position,
Yeah.
walking on a loose lead. Here, buddy. That kind of thing.
Yeah.
He did have to learn how to carry something in his mouth.
Okay.
That was our hardest challenge. That did not come easy to him.
Something new.
He is not a retriever, and the idea of carrying something in his mouth was not pleasant. And he also had to learn how to scratch a door.
Okay.
Not normally something you teach your pet to do, but we actually had to teach him to scratch a door. He learned that one very quickly, and we did not practice it very much.
Was he able to unlearn those few things, like scratching the door?
He never
I'm sure.
really has inappropriately used
Okay.
it, so yeah.
That's good.
we're good with that.
How involved were you in the filmmaking process? Like, were you there on set every single day? And if you were, how long were you both on set for?
Yep. So I am 100% his trainer.
Okay.
So everywhere Bing is, I am there as well.
Awesome.
I worked with a head trainer during the film, but I actually, it takes a village, right?
I'm
so
sure.
I had never done anything like that before, but the two of us, like I said, all the behaviors that he performs, that is all me doing all that training, and there with him 100% of the time. Our days were long. We filmed we started the very first week of February, and we ended the very last week of March of 2024. We worked a lot of days of that time period, and it was long days. They had a house for us in Staten Island. We would usually leave the house between 5 and 6 in the morning and get home between probably 5 and 7 at night. Probably more like
long
7.
days, yeah.
Some very, very long days. We would commute to wherever we were filming
Yep.
around Manhattan. We had a soundstage in Brooklyn. We filmed out on Long Island. So we filmed a handful of different locations,
Yeah.
but all around New York.
So you got the full experience,
Full
of
experience,
New York and
yes.
the filmmaking
Commuting
process.
in, doing
Yeah.
the drive, the whole 9 yards. Yep.
That's amazing. This is a question because I'm jealous. I had seen some photos floating all over the internet of you both at parties with celebrities. So I have to ask, who are you most starstruck by, whether it was on set or at a party or a premiere?
That is so hard. Oh my gosh.
Could be
that
a few people.
Yeah, there is a long litany of folks that was pretty amazing. Goodness, we've met, well, of course, the obvious ones like Drew Barrymore, we were on her show,
Oh, yeah.
Jimmy Kimmel, we were on his show, The View, Good Morning America. We also got to meet people like Will Ferrell, Demi Moore,
crazy.
Selena Gomez, Mark Hamill, Tom Hiddleston.
Amazing.
Oh gosh, the list just goes on and on. Will Poulter.
Love him.
Yeah, it's so many neat people, and it's just been really. Brett Goldstein.
I think I saw Jolie in the background of at least one photo. I don't know if you physically met her, but
Yep, and that's the funny part too. Is like when we did the photo with like Mark Hamill, I have like Tom Hiddleston and all these other folks like.
Yep.
Like photobombing us in the back, and I'm like, everybody's just kind of like, I'm like, oh my gosh, I didn't know who to like. Oh, the whole thing is just wild.
yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah.
And speaking of wild, what has the reaction been like around town? Obviously, you might be famous within town because you have a beautiful giant dog. But ever since the movie has been released, have you felt yourself being recognized more throughout town?
We don't like it. Kind of weather depends. Like, we own 10 acres, so oftentimes the dogs we just enjoy running around on our
Gotcha.
acreage.
Yeah.
So if we don't always get out for like leashed walks, like in town, but when we have been out leash walking, including like in New York and LA, like he's starting to get recognized a lot,
That's
and that's
amazing,
pretty
yeah.
weird.
Yeah.
I probably haven't had as much around to town just because we haven't really done a ton of leash walking lately, but. Yeah, it's pretty wild to be recognized as often as he has now.
I bet. And then one last question for you. This is a pretty popular thing where on red carpets or when celebrities are involved around movies, people like to ask, what are your 4 favorite movies?
Oh,
Yes.
gosh. Oh, I'm horrible at that. I can't narrow it down. I like so many different movies and for so many different reasons. Oh, I'd almost have to have a list of things to choose from.
It can be the 4 that involve a dog or an animal, maybe, since we are here with Bing.
I mean, as a kid, dog movies, The Incredible Journey and Old Yeller were kind of hard to top.
Classics.
Yeah, classics. And then all the Disney animated films with animals
Love it.
are pretty fun too. So yeah,
Awesome.
that's hard to narrow down.
Yeah, I can imagine. It's a hard question. I'm going to ask him 3 questions now.
Sure.
I'm going to start with the same question. Bing, what are your 4 favorite movies?
Woo woo. He said woo woo. He's like, I'm just gonna watch everybody.
Perfect answer. All right. I wanted to ask you, what was the process like of getting into the character of as Apollo? And did it get easier or harder to get used to going by a different name for about 2 months, it sounds like?
Fortunately, he never really had to react to Apollo by itself. So yeah, that made it a little easier.
And then one last question for you, Bing. Now that you've had the taste of the limelight of Hollywood, being in a big time movie, are there any other actors, dog or human, that you would like to work with if you ever wanted to be in a film again?
Oh, he did get to meet Demi Moore's dog, Pilaf, and he was a fan of Pilaf. So, Pilaf is very tiny and cute.
I love it. Thank you, Bing. Well, Bev, Bing, thank you so much for
Thank
answering
you.
some questions. And everyone, make sure you watch the movie The Friends, starring Bing as Apollo, which is now available on digital for rent and buying. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much.